Hi, it's Andrew Ruffalo. Today I'm going to do something a little different. Today I'm going to be reviewing my Samsung Galaxy Note 2. Basically, I've been using this device since its release date on Verizon in late November, early December. And like I say, I really do like how the device works. It's super smooth, and that's expected with something that has a quad-core processor and Mali 400 GPU. It's running Android 4.1, which normally that would get some grief, but I have a Galaxy Nexus as well, and I'm running Android 4.2 on that. And there are some nice features that 4.2 provides that you can probably get on a custom ROM as well. But to be honest, it's not ready for everyday use for me. I do like some features that Android 4.2 does provide, but I'm still getting used to that. For right now, for my everyday device, the Note 2 has been fine running Android 4.1. It's got a 5.5-inch HD Super AMOLED screen with a resolution of 1280 by 720. It's got a bright notification light that isn't quite customizable yet. If you use an app like LightFlow, it does mess up your notifications and has a persistent notification on all the time. I haven't used that in a while, so I don't know if that's been fixed, but to my current knowledge, as of today, it hasn't. So you can't really customize the notification lights yet, but it is pretty bright and it is pretty handy. It's got an 8 megapixel camera on the outside that's actually very good, and a 1.9 megapixel front facing camera, which to be honest I haven't used very much. And the times that I've used it, it's been in low lighting, which obviously there's no front facing LED light to help you out with low lighting situations, so I haven't taken very good front facing pictures with this, but that may be just because of the situation. I do have some good front-facing photos from the 1.2 megapixel camera on the Galaxy Nexus, but those have all been outdoor situations. It's got a quad-core Exynos 4412 processor, which is a Cortex A9 processor, and it's running at 1.6 gigahertz per core. And like I said earlier, the GPU is a Mali 400 MP, and the GPU is fantastic GPU. May not be on par with some Apple products, but it's for an Android device, it's fantastic. It's got 2 gigabytes of RAM, which very helpful. If you want to see what I'm running normally on a daily basis, I'm running stock firmware, so I usually have a high memory load compared to if someone who probably runs a custom deep loaded operating system, they usually run around the 700 megabytes of used. I'm over twice that normally. I keep around the 1.45 gigabyte of RAM actually being used at any given time. You can clear it. It maybe goes down for a second, but everything that I have running in the background on my phone usually pops that back up. However, I do not use some of the other features that would be even more memory intense, such as I forgot what the hell this is called, but the dual pane view where you can move around 2 different apps at the same time. I don't actually use that ever, so it doesn't really bother me that Verizon has bastardized it and left a lot of the core applications out of that. Which I'll get onto Verizon's pitfalls on this device that the ones that matter to me, I've gone around and added, and some other ones I haven't. But fortunately, the device is still unlockable as of today, which is February 21st. Okay, so the network in here, the network card, the Wi-Fi card, it's got a dual band capable of 150 megabits per second ABGN wireless card, And I gotta say, compared to the Galaxy Nexus, which has one of the worst Wi-Fi cards I've ever handled, this is just blows it out of the water and blows my mind as far as how good the Wi-Fi card can be. In comparison, my TV, I have a PS3 and a few other networked devices just a few feet away from me, and they're horrible as far as getting reception. Now, I do live in a bunker. The reception inside this particular building sucks. It's horrible. But it is hurricane proof, I guess. So, you know, I live in Florida. That's kind of what you need. But as far as reception compared to for network reception, it is actually very good compared to the Galaxy Nexus, which isn't very hard to beat. But since they're both Samsung devices, I gotta say, Samsung finally listened to its customers and decided to put in, you know, good networking radios. They're really good. I'm very content. I don't have a problem sending, you know, MMS messages in here like I did with the Nexus, and you know, I never miss calls in here, which I never did on the Nexus, but my wife has an iPhone 5 from Verizon as well, and the call quality sucks in here, and you know, constantly failed messages. So I'm happy to say that the radio on here is actually very good. So to go on to some other features, it's got 16 gigabytes of internal storage and it's expandable up to 64 gigabytes of external storage. I'm not too happy with the internal storage. However, I do have the 64 gig micro SD XC compatible card, and I didn't even need to format it any special way. It just recognized the full 64 gigs in the current format that it came. So I've stored all my movies that I want to take with me on the go on my external card. I'm pretty happy with that as well. But you know, for gaming, for using any of these high, something like Need for Speed, which I have on here, that's a 1.9 gigabytes of data that you need, and having only 10 gigabytes available to a user is kind of limited as far as if you want to really use this wonderful GPU that the device has. Now, there is a way around that, and I'll show you that in a little bit later. As far as the S Pen, I really do like the S Pen. It's really nice design. And when you pull it out of the phone, obviously you get a new card shows up. On your notification bar, you get, you know, recommended S Pen devices, S Pen apps that you can use. You have S Note, which is obviously optimized for the S Pen. Now, the S Pen also has a pressure sensitive tip, which is very nice, and it also has the ability to hover. So you can hover over certain items and they'll expand into another window. I can show you that in the gallery app. So if I pull up the gallery app, you can actually see, you know, if you go over a window without actually touching the screen, you actually have a nice little pop-up that comes up with previews of the files inside of it. Okay. Now, the S Pen is also very handy for apps that aren't technically designed for the S Pen but do work well. I do use Draw Something to play with my wife and her parents. It's pretty neat to draw. I do have a significant advantage on them. Other features, there are some S Pen apps that are optimized for it. One example is Catch. Catch, which is you know, you have it's a productivity app, and it does have a plugin for the S Pen that you can also download in the market or Play Store. And some other features that the S Pen allows you to do. You can take screenshots with it. So all you do is push down the little button on the side and tap the screen. And you can take a screenshot. You can draw on a screenshot, you know, that's discarded. And then you can also bring up smart actions, or sorry, not smart actions. These are quick commands is what they're actually called. And you can send text messages, call somebody, and basically you would draw the little symbol that it has in there and then write the person's name, and you can, it'll call or go to a website or something. Whatever you write next to this symbol, it'll pull it up, which is pretty neat. Let's see, what else is there? That's pretty much all I use on the S Pen. I don't use it very often. There are some really neat features that are attached with it. If you walk away while the S Pen is out, let's say you leave it on the counter, the phone will remind you. I'm not going to do that here because you do have to walk a decent distance, but I took a screenshot of it. Let's see. You get a little notification, it vibrates, makes a noise, and then tells you, attention, your S Pen has been detached. So that's pretty neat. I really do like that a lot, as far as if I were to walk away with it. You can shut that off in the settings. One thing, this device has a crap load of settings. If you're going to really play with this device for a while, it's going to take you a while to get used to it and to make it the way you want it to be. So let's see. Let's go over the user interface. I actually do like the TouchWiz. I also like, mostly stockish Android as well. But the TouchWiz isn't bad. You get some benefits like the widget icons. You can quickly go from page to page, which is nifty if you had a lot more pages than I do. I really don't use that many, so I don't really use that feature that much. But if I did, I really loaded up my home page, that would be useful. You got pinch to zoom, where you can quickly navigate and add more pages and remove pages that way. Your app drawer, side scrolling just like on the stock Android, except one feature I really don't like is, on stock Android, if you go past the last page, you go into widgets, and you actually have to tap on widgets here. And I know why they did that. It doesn't really bother me that much, but it's so that you can pinch to zoom here and have all of your apps, and then have it separate for the widgets. Another thing they did, they replaced the market icon with a downloaded icon, so you get just your downloaded applications here. Even when stock Android doesn't let you hide an application for some reason, you can hide it on the TouchWiz, which is pretty handy. You can just hit hide application. You can hide anything, including the I actually have some hidden ones that you can't see here somewhere. Probably they're general Verizon bloat crap that comes on here. I haven't removed them. I don't know. The space that they would free up is not significant enough for me. I really have more of a limitation with the 16 gigs in general. That sucks that there's not an option for a 32, because 32 on my Nexus is plenty. I don't even care that I don't have external storage on the Nexus. It is fast though. It's very, very quick and smooth, and I really do like that. Let's see. Now, the processor in here is still an A9 processor. So the benefits of that is actually you're going to get a lot of app support when you go into the market. There's nothing that I had on my Nexus that I don't have on here, other than maybe some carrier specific items. Now you may have noticed that one of those items is not wallet. I found a workaround for that, so I actually currently do have wallet on here working just fine. But other than that, your app support's not going to be any different. Like game support is not going to be any different between the two devices. Pretty much what works on the Nexus will work on the Galaxy Note 2 because of the similar architecture in in the processor. Okay. Now let's go with some downsides. I've already mentioned the internal storage is limited at 16 gigs. You do have the external storage, so that's a one up on the Droid DNA, which has 16 gigs of storage and no external storage at all. One way around this is using an app called Directory Bind. You can find it on XDA. Basically, you can find the file that's in your internal storage, create a similar file on your external storage, and link the files over and transfer all the files that are there. So I would only do this if you have a game and you have an SD card that's class 10, because anything that you're going to be using this for will be slightly hindered on performance if you use anything less than a class 10. And even then, when I'm playing Need for Speed, I do notice slightly more delay than I normally would have if I hadn't used it at all. Actually, to tell you the truth, the game performs phenomenally on either way, so that's why I put up with the, slight moments where it may drag a little. It's really not that bad. The performance on the SD card that I have in here is pretty good. I'll link that in the description below which card I have. All right. The screen size is sometimes too big for one-handed use, but fortunately, Samsung did a good job with the keyboard, making it where you can move it to one side if you really wanted to. But to tell you the truth, I really don't use the device one-handed most of the time anyway. I do use it at work a lot, and I'm sitting down in front of a desk. I can use two hands. I don't really do any texting or anything like that while I'm walking, because I live in Boca Raton and there's a lot of old people, and I don't want to get hit by a car. So yeah, I'm not one of those people who just walks around with one-handed typing and not paying attention to where I'm going. Also, the Verizon model is missing a few features. One of the features that I've added here is the calendar. It is a system app, so you do have to have a rooted device to get this on there. I like this view better than the agenda view, which comes standard. Now, because I have this, I can't use the agenda view. So for me, it's one or the other. I like this, at least until I get bored with it. But I like being able to see the entire month and knowing what's going on. And my wife will link hers occasionally, her work schedule on there too, so I know when she's working, which is nice. I do like that. It's also, you got this persistent stupid Wi-Fi thing here, which I don't really like. You've got some night mode. I forgot exactly the name of it, but it's a night mode thing. I've gone around that with using Automated. You can download and install a ROM that has it built in, I'm sure, but I use Automated instead. It works just as well, and Automated's a nice small app that it's easy to program. At midnight, I want this sound profile, and then at 5 o'clock, let the sound go off, whatever. It's pretty easy to do, to program it, things like that with night mode, or with that. You have this battery power saving mode, which is pretty cool. It dims the screen, turns the haptic feedback off, slows down the GPU and CPU, and performance, you will notice slightly a hindrance in performance on something that uses graphics. So the Draw Something app or any kind of game, you don't want to be running in power saver mode, but you do get a lot better battery life, which this phone actually has fantastic battery life. I guess my ideal phone overall would be only a smidget smaller than this with the same battery. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about some of the downsides to this device. While there's not very many, One of the downsides is that it's not exactly the same carrier to carrier. You have this big giant Verizon logo inside the button that's only on the Verizon model and not on any of the other ones. On the stock back cover you have some more Verizon logos, which can be excessive. I found a healthy medium leaving the one in the button there, since it's not too big, I guess, and then switching the back. I'm using a carbon fiber back cover that I got off of eBay, but the flip covers from Samsung also don't have a Verizon or any kind of carrier specific logoing, so I can see why Verizon wanted to differentiate themselves by having it inside the button. It just still looks dumb. So other than that, it's the internal space being limited to 16 gigs is ridiculous. You know, I don't have a problem with the 32 gigs inside the Nexus. The 16 gigs inside here, even with the 64 gig card, is a problem with games. That's pretty much it. If everything else was pretty small, but you have an awesome GPU, why don't you want to use it for gaming? So the way I've come around that is by using a very fast external card and using directory bind, which you can find off XDA inside the Samsung Galaxy S3 and Note 2 forums. There you'll find an app called directory bind, and basically you link a folder on your internal storage to an external storage. It moves all the files there, and you can still run whatever app that you need, because it basically, the app thinks that the file is there, but it's really pulling it from the external storage. It does provide slight, performance decrease on some games, but for the most part, it's not that bad as long as you pick a pretty fast card. Now, sometimes the size is too big. It's really not an issue for me because I don't do very much one-handed typing. I do a lot of two-handed everything, so the size isn't really that big of an issue. It's only sometimes it shows like, oh, you're trying to tap something up on this top corner with your thumb if you're right-handed, and it's a little bit far. But you get used to maneuvering it around to where you can do that, or there's ways around it. It's just, you do look stupid trying to do anything one-handed on this device. Next, I'm going to go over some of the accessories that they sell on the website. They sell these back covers. I got mine off of eBay. They have the flip covers, which the only downside to the flip cover would be if you want to take a picture, you have to take a picture like this. Otherwise, if you do that, you're covering the camera. So you have to take pictures kind of sort of like this, which can be kind of stupid. That's why I don't really use it too much. If I do, I use it at work where I'm not allowed to take pictures anyway. They have TecTiles, which are glorified NFC tags. I haven't opened up my set of TecTiles yet, so I really can't tell you the difference of them yet, or the benefits, or anything. I'll have to do some research on that. I do have an NFC tag on my keychain that I use to turn on and off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, depending on whether I'm going going to or coming from work. So I have that I use on my keychain. The other accessories that they have a SmartDock, which I may purchase in the future. I don't know. I've had the device for a few months and haven't found a need for it, so I probably will hold off. But it's neat. It's got 3 USB ports, and it's also got an HDMI dock, so you can basically use this device as a computer. Use the full 2 gigs of RAM to its potential, and use it as a full device with a keyboard, mouse, display, external display, everything you need for $100. Which, if you're smart, you can probably find some codes online if you want for 50% off any Samsung accessory, as they do exist out there. So you might be able to grab it for 50 from their website if it's in stock. Those coupons only apply for items that they have in stock, and sometimes they go in and out of stock. Now they have other stands with just like a spare battery charger, or they have a multimedia dock with just the HDMI output, which is, I think both of those run around $50. They have an AllCast Wireless Hub, which is also a $100 device, which plugs into your TV, and you can stream the content from your phone to the TV wirelessly, much like an Apple, the TV adapter that Apple has. I don't even know what it's called, but that allows you to do similar thing, kind of where you have all share. This has AllCast, where you can stream things wirelessly to a TV like that. They have various MHL adapters, which allow you to plug in directly to your TV and use the HDMI output, or HDMI input on the TV with the micro USB output on the phone. They have Muse, which is a portable media player. I'm not really quite sure who that's for, but it allows you to connect it as a dongle. Over here, you can put some songs onto it and then use the device on its own, or use the app to control item. I don't really know what it's for, honestly, to tell you the truth. The device is not that big where you can't keep it around. I found an armband where I go running with this device, so you don't need it, you know. Like I said, the TecTiles, you can get these or any of the normal NFC tags. If you want to support the most amount of devices, use the normal tags, because this both will recognize both tags. As I have a regular tag that I use for the switching the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi radios that I use with this device, and it also works on this one, which this technically doesn't support the TecTile tag. NFC tags. And that's my review. I guess the only thing I can say is, you know, the device is fantastic. The Bluetooth quality inside the car is fantastic. Streaming audio to another device through Bluetooth is really good, which sucks on here. And that's about it. All right. Overall, I'm very happy with my Note 2. I'm anticipating the S4 release to see what it has, but I'm probably going to stay with the Note 2 for a while, even though I have an upgrade, which if Verizon's going to take away my unlimited data, I won't be upgrading anytime soon. All right, have a good day.